As I've said before, right? I was going to say, if there aren't technical difficulties, it's not a live stream. Go ahead and talk, and let's see if they can hear you now.
Things and stuff and words.
How about
my
now?
cat's breath smells like cat food.
Yep.
My character smells like cat food. Perfect. At the end of this, we'll go back through and everyone can reintroduce yourselves and tell all about the things you have coming up, because those were the important parts. They're going to learn about your characters as we go. I'm seeing spikes, so hopefully they can hear.
I could hear it when I turned it back on. I heard.
Okay, perfect.
So we're good.
We will continue. Let me just recap real quick. So, Rachel, pronounce your character's name for me.
Ksenia Malaya.
Ksenia, thank you. Okay, so Ksenia is looking for books at a chat bookseller. Sonny Lucio is telling everyone about his latest great deed, and he's just about to roll some dice.
I feel if he's doing this near the booksellers, Ksenia might. Oh, that's interesting.
So I got a 10.
A 10. All right. So a good amount of the people that are right around you, and Ksenia, you even notice like some of the people that are like really into some of the romances that they're like fingering through. They just kind of jam them back into the bookshelves and wander over to watch Sonny tell this story. And it's pretty good. Like, you were there. You don't remember it being this amazing. It is. You must have missed some of the parts, but this is awesome. Cicero, what are you doing?
Likely just having a drink. People watching. Not big into crowds, so off to the side. Having a drink and just watching, I think.
Okay. What is your... Let me just double check something here. What do you do? Oh, you're the Cavalier. Awesome. So as you're sitting there, you're listening to the people talking and everything, and off in the distance you can hear all of the gondoliers singing. There are many aqueducts, sorry, that go through the city, and like the people often will use those to get from place to place, as kind of like in Venice. And so the gondoliers are singing, and it's off in the distance you can hear your mount. What's your mount's name?
The first name that came to mind, Charlie.
Charlie. I mean, absolutely. Charlie is Charlie's kind of a cross between an elephant and a camel, and he has two heads. And so he has this kind of braying noise that then the other head will echo. And so this double echo is kind of going off. You feel like Charlie is pretty content, but the gondoliers, much like how if you sing around certain dogs like huskies, they will howl. The gondoliers are obviously causing Charlie to join in the festivities. But you notice this guy who's standing near you while you're kind of like listening to that. He's dressed in very fine black, almost velvety clothes, fine pants, like an overcoat. It's all worked with gold embroidery. And he has this domino mask on with a tricorn hat over it. And that wouldn't be so weird, except for over there you also see someone wearing the exact same outfit. And it just kind of like is jarring for a moment, because like everyone just seems to like kind of be trying to outdo each other in their outfits, brighter, bolder, louder, and these guys are just wearing like the same thing, and it's really kind of their black tones are not, it's almost like they're trying to meld in with the shadows around you instead of with the people. So just keep that in mind. Tremont, what are you doing?
Here, Tremont is kind of walking up. I figure maybe I'm just arriving, and I'm kind of walking up as Lucio is finishing his story, and I would like to address him and the crowd as I walk up and say, as I recall, kid, didn't you split your pants while you were doing that jump? And the last 3/4 of the battle, you were fighting with your nethers exposed, if I remember that properly.
Yeah, yes, nethers exposed to the wind, and still, with one hand and one sword, I defended the children and the puppies. And Tremont is the one who actually pointed it out and saved my life, because there was a time when I almost fell, and Tremont swooped in and saved me and said, "You got this, kid."
Ksenia, you definitely remember that part.
I'll walk up and give him a hug and say, how's it going, you old scoundrel?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's been too long.
Entirely. But I
you?
figured there was a festival in town, and honestly, I could stand to lay low for a few days. So I thought I'd come by and visit.
I'm glad you did. Anything specifically fun you're laying low from?
Just a little bit of a bad debt back home. I borrowed some money. Well, I was forwarded some money for a job, moving something from A to B. Something had to get dropped off because I ran into some. It's boring details. Don't worry about it. I'm sure it won't be an issue.
Oh, no.
They'll never think to look for me here.
Oh yeah, like you don't have to worry about that. Like debt is. I mean, I think like if you don't have debt, you're doing something wrong.
It's
You shouldn't
true.
have a lot of debt, because then they get kind of angry really quickly. But some debt is.
It's not much really. It's only about 10 grand. I can work it out.
Yeah, that's fine.
Pocket change.
So how long are you in the area?
Till I figure out where I'm coming up with 10 grand, probably.
So Tremont, Sunny and Ksenia, because at least that one job you were on with them. Do you know Cicera and Zilla as well?
Sure, we've all made each other's acquaintance at some point or another.
Okay, good to know. Zilla, what are you doing?
I'm probably sitting off somewhere by myself, watching people, and as they go by, using like my connections with astrology and all that jazz to like realize how much better than them I am.
So funny you should mention that about astrology. So you're sitting there and you're like thinking about how amazing you are, especially compared to a lot of the people around you. But
Right.
This morning you did this reading and it was just a little off-putting. You've kind of had this clench in your gut all day and you keep like thinking, okay, well maybe it'll pass. Maybe it won't have anything to do with me today. Maybe it's just some poor sucker that was nearby when I did the reading. But there's definitely something weird going on. Are you sitting by yourself near Cicera, or are you sitting by yourself like across the way or anything like that?
Probably near, but not like with.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sitting by myself with Cicera because you two are just
Right.
like facing away.
Right, like I know you, and if something comes up, I could speak to you, but like.
Totally fair. You also notice the fellows in the black outfits, but because you're looking like at everyone, kind of judging and taking in like what they're doing, you notice something I will tell you in just a moment. Where?
Whilst you're digging, your
Yes.
camera has gone green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the what?
Yeah, you're a big green box.
This is something that happens to other people and not me. So, what is going on today? Gilbert, this happens to you. What happened? Do you know what causes it?
I have no idea.
Yay!
I just on my laptop. I just dropped from Discord and joined back up for no reason.
Okay, so things are gonna jump around. Let's see. Why? Why is this a thing? Okay, I'm going to
So-
leave this
Oh,
call.
you're good.
Oh, okay,
You're
yay! What
Welcome
the
back.
what? Okay, so while you're sitting there looking around, thanks for letting me know I was all green. You notice. So, Vance is essentially a city of red Martians. Red Martians are essentially humans. Red Martians look like we do, and a wide variety of skin colors and shapes and sizes. And then there are some other races that live on Mars. One is the Pale Martians, who are actually much taller, have 4 arms, a little more strongly built than most humans. There we go. The Zayas are essentially ape-like. They have slightly longer arms, very ape-like faces, covered in fur. And there are the Wyeth, who are the plant women of the Wyeth rainforest. And Zilla, you notice one of these Wyeth women walking through the crowd. She seems completely in awe of everything that's going on and just like completely out of her element, but so just happy to be there. And she's like touching things, and she walks by Ksenia and like pulls out some books and like smells them rather than reads them, and then puts them back and wanders over to look at masks. She's like the only person not wearing a mask. What would you... Is there anything else you want to do while you're watching?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I looked and I didn't see anything specific I wanted to do right now.
Okay. So I will say, Cicera and Zilla, as you're sitting there, the fellow who's closest to Cicera, you notice him motion over to the fellow that's kind of off in the crowd. You can't really tell anything about these people, whether they're men or women, so we're just going to go with a general fellow.
Sure, I'll
Pronoun, whatever, until you can tell. So you see the one fellow like kind of motion to the other one, and they both, with intent, begin moving into the crowd. And you notice that there's an increase in the noise coming from the crowd. So there's like an excitement building, but you can't, from where you are, see that. But Lucio, you're kind of like up on a box and you're like striking a pose, and Tremont's down below you, and you notice like over there the crowd's kind of milling together, and it looks like there might be somebody coming in through one of the tunnels that are essentially created by the walkways between buildings. Ksenia, you
So
also
we-
get this feeling of like the increased energy, but you don't see that motion.
So we're seeing like a crowd gather, but we just don't know what they're gathering for from our angle.
Yeah, from your angle, like everything is just a crowd, but it looks like people are starting to like push in a certain direction, and those two fellows are definitely like weaving their way, sometimes a little forcefully, like they're just shoving people out of the way, and there's a shout of like, "You ass, what are you doing?" But no one has like drawn blades on them or anything.
Like to follow them if possible.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I'll mostly just follow the people I know rather than the actual group, because I don't know what's really happening, but I'll go look.
Okay. So Zilla, you see Cicera stand up, and I'm assuming you two know where each other are since you were close by, and maybe Cicera glances at you and
Yeah, I'll give
with
her.
that meaningful.
Yeah, I'll give her a nod and just.
Okay.
All right. Yep.
So Lucio and Tremont, what are you doing?
If I notice their movement, I'll kind of raise an eyebrow and gesture that way with my head.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll follow. Like Tremont's a homie, and like my story had puppies, so if this is more interesting than puppies, like I need to know for future distractions.
I mean, sorry, you're wrong. There's nothing more interesting than puppies, but we'll go ahead and take that.
Right?
All right, so everyone starts like pushing their way through the crowd, and through the like peeking over everyone's head, like you kind of tiptoe up and try and see. You do notice that there's a group of people moving through the kind of like what everyone is made for a walkway through this plaza, but even that is like this compressive bodies pushing up against each other, and so the group is moving slowly, and you notice that several of the people are dressed almost like caricatures of guards, and they're surrounding two people in the middle. One has this amazing, like, you can't really see the dress up close, but once you get there and you can see it, she has this like amazing dress on that kind of like has that big bell on the bottom that poofs out, and so people are kind of having to like move around her as she moves through the crowd, and she has this very ornate mask of like a demon on, but it's all in white and shiny, like glitter is on it, and she has this like massive plume of feathers coming out of the top of the mask, and next to her is a fellow who has this brilliant purple outfit on. It looks kind of like a suit royalty would wear, but it's also kind of a caricature of that instead. Like it's been tailored to look out of sorts, like off angles and stuff. And he has another demon mask on that's all purple and glittery and stuff, and he has plumes coming out of the top. You get the feeling these are the two nobles that are making their way through the streets, and those people around are probably their guards. But Cicera and Zilla, because you've been following them, you notice those two fellows are actually now 3 fellows, and now 4 fellows, as more of these people are coming in from the edges and kind of starting to surround that group. What do you do?
I assume as moving through this crowd, there's a lot of like, people are very tight with one another, a lot of bumping into one another, a lot of excuse me, pardon me.
Absolutely.
I would like to take this opportunity to fill my pockets with as much wealth of the crowd as I can.
Absolutely.
As I'm passing through.
As one does. All right,
Yes.
so you choose your 2 dice.
I would assume this is with grace and for self.
I mean, the for self is pretty obvious. You could do for cunning too.
I think my grace is a little better. And then
Sure.
does my thief apply or
Oh, that's
no?
a good question. Yes.
Excellent. And I'm looking for some, or I'm looking for highest.
Do highest.
Highest is an 8.
Perfect. Okay. So your dancing fingers just weave their way through people's pockets and their belt pouches. It's easier a couple of times to just lift the pouch off of the little clip that people are holding their money on.
Sure.
What idiots. Who comes into places like this with their money so easily removed? They deserve to have it taken.
They basically gave it to him.
Right.
I
They
agree,
basically
right.
gave it to you.
They're donations.
So you don't, unless you choose to count it, you just, pocket it in your little side pack and move on.
Pretty much, yeah. I'm not. There's time enough for counting when the dealing's done.
Exactly. There should be a song about that.
Right?
Somebody's gonna need to write that.
Right. Zilla, what are you doing?
I'm gonna try to get as near to the actual ruckus thing going on as possible without being like somebody would like remember as they were at the right at the front of it, like
Gotcha.
if something goes on, I don't want to be remembered as like a person who was right there. But,
Sure.
as close as I can reasonably without being the first face somebody remembers.
Perfect. And Ksenia, what are you doing?
I am sneaking up right behind Zilla because that's a pretty good idea.
Perfect. Sunny.
I'm making my way kind of far from Tremont, but like always keeping an eye on because like we gotta like triangulate. But I'm also trying to figure out like what is really so fascinating about these particular people, even if they are royalty.
Gotcha. And Cicera.
Just tailing the guards, I would really like to know what they're surrounding this group for, so I'm just going to try to stay hidden.
Okay. So you are moving up as well, but you're essentially doing what Zilla's doing, where trying to not be noticed.
Precisely.
Perfect. So as everyone kind of like converges quietly and just trying to not be noticed. All of a sudden, you hear a shout, "Vance for Vance!" from the other side of the group. And then there's a scream. It sounds like it came from the woman who's in that group. Like, those of you who are kind of peeking up can see her scream. And then she begins, like, fighting the dress that she's in, trying to draw her sword. Like, obviously, this thing is beautiful to look at, but not the best to fight in. But you do see her, like, sword come out. You don't see the fellow in purple any longer. And behind them are some more of those black dressed figures who seem to have now entered combat with the guards that were protecting the other people. What do you do?
So the woman drawing her sword, what is she focused on?
So it looks like she's shifting her gaze. It's hard to tell because she's wearing a mask, but the mask does turn slightly downward, and then to look at the people who are attacking her guards.
Oh. And so the people attacking her guards, those were the ones wearing like the fake guard garb?
So the people that were wearing that kind of like caricature of a guard, those were her actual guards. They're just dressed up for the festival. The people who are in like the black uniforms are the ones who attacked them.
Okay. And I don't know anything about the woman. Do I?
You think she is this lady, what's her name? I lost it, sorry. You think she's the royal lady. I cannot think of her name off the top of my head.
Would I know who she was because I'm like a member of the merchant class of Vance?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So
the Lady Odanza.
So I'm like aware that she is she's like rightfully who she is, and there's not any reason to think that like there's like a reason that they would be thinking she's not who she is.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And then I have telekinesis. How obvious is that? Like, is that the kind of thing that everyone's going to know I used it? Is it the kind of thing that you'd have to pay attention to know? Nobody knows? How's that work?
You know, in a crowd like this, it's possible, depending on what you do, that it could be unnoticed. It kind of depends on how big of a thing you're doing. Like, if you lift a person up, everyone's going to see that. They might notice that you're the one who's having to focus on doing it. Although right now, like, a lot of people are just like yelling and screaming. It's almost like this wave is about to break, trying to get away from the action, because the people in black are like trying to fight their way against the guards and all of this. So in the madness, you might be able to do it without people noticing.
Okay. Would I be able to do something rather than like moving a person or a thing? Would I be able to do something that would just be like a general shove?
Oh yeah, totally.
Like can I go like between where the actual guards are and these fake guards and just like shove the whole crowd? Like just push a shove? Like, it doesn't have to even do much, just
do you want to shove the people who are essentially now trying to get away, or are you trying to shove the guards? What's your intent, just so I know?
It would be to move the fake guards, but if it shoves some of the crowd too, whatever.
Gotcha.
I'm not worried about that.
Perfect. Yeah, so as you move your way up there, go ahead and do you have a roll for your, or do you just need to spend?
It says cost none effect. When using telekinesis to strike in combat, also move the opponent up to one space in any direction. This is not limited to once per round, as the shave maneuver is.
Gotcha.
Shove maneuver is. There we go.
So
Sorry,
let's do, you're trying to remain unnoticed. So go ahead and just do a non-combat roll. So pick a motivation and a method, and then roll those 2 dice.
Probably honor and I guess force. Those aren't my best, but that makes more sense. Okay, so I roll them both and then just give you the total?
Yeah.
6.
Okay. So as you move through, you kind of move up and turn around and do this thrust out with your mind. And at the last moment, you kind of think maybe I'll stumble with it, almost like it was you got hit also. And that manages, a couple of people are looking at you when it happens, so there's like a look of shock on their face, but you realize they haven't noticed it was you. So everyone else notices, like a good chunk of the crowd kind of gets pushed back. The guards stumble that are on that side. And actually, as you're up there, Zilla, you notice standing up from an attacking position that he was like crouched into is one of the black dressed fellows, and he like wipes his blade on whoever's on the ground and then begins to run off. What is everybody else doing? Let's go with Tremont.
Well, I kind of shoot a glance over to my buddy, and then we can see this person that's trying to run away.
It seems like there are several people trying to run away, like these black-clad fellows.
Right.
They're all now trying to like move out of the crowd. You get the feeling, because of your shenanigans, especially with Lucio, it was a matter of who got to the target first.
Sure.
And now they're all trying to get away.
I'm specifically referring to whether I clocked the one that has blood on their blade.
Let's see. Go ahead and do a roll. You pick your motivation and method.
This will be for self.
Okay.
I would assume it's with cunning.
Sure.
Can I rely on, because I've got psychometric master, can I rely on exerting, like, say, my thief talent? I've been watching the crowd, because you have to exert a talent that's not adept to use it.
Gotcha. What does it give you?
It allows me to use what's the exact wording? Let me look.
No worries. While you're looking that up, because Lucio's next to you, Lucio, what are you doing?
Well, I doubt I am perceptive enough to find the particular one with blood, but I can find somebody.
Yeah.
So I just want to grab a person. And if they put up any resistance, I want to help them stop resisting with force.
Now, when you say any person, do you mean these black-clad
Any
fellows?
person in black, yeah.
Okay.
Not just like a random child, like, what did you do?
Go ahead and also do me a roll. So you're going to choose your motivation and then your method. Your method's probably going to be with force.
Yes. Method for, and I will say this is for honor, because I'm like, why are we just like stabbing royalty now? And just the highest, you say?
Go ahead and give me the sum.
Okay, so that is beautiful. Stop. Okay, hold on. That was on the ground. That's a 20. Natural
Nice.
20, even though it's not a natural 20 yet.
Okay, so Tremont, do you know your thing yet?
Well, I was looking at Psychometric Master because it says you're capable of sensing histories without the need to touch your subject. So I was going to try to like learn from that person running away, like learn who they are or what their motive is or what they're doing. But more to the point, though, I wanted to try to trip them up telekinetically. So I'll probably focus on that first.
Okay.
So that's just straight up telekinetic control. And that's what? That'd be with, I guess, is that method, motivation, and trait?
Sure.
Okay. So I guess with that, it'll be cunning because I'm trying to trip them slyly. Self, because this is about me getting the credit for saving these royal people.
Perfect.
And adept would be my rating that I'm using.
Okay.
So that's 10, 8. Highest or sum?
I'd go ahead and do some for this.
So that's 10.
Okay. So all of this is kind of happening simultaneously. Zilla shoves everybody. Lucio, you're reaching for this guy, and the crowd doesn't you're far enough back that you're not part of that like kind of telekinetic slam, but like she's shoving everyone into essentially everyone else, and so as you go to reach for this guy, he just like tumbles into your arms, and I mean, there's no chance for him to escape. You just like grapple him, and Tremont, you look over, and kind of the same thing is happening where that force of Zilla's telekinetic shove hits the guy, and you just like throw that like invisible block, and he just goes down face first and smashes his face into the ground. You can hear the sound of the paper mache mask he was wearing crack, or maybe it was his nose. Something definitely cracked, and you glean a little bit from him. You think his name is Kenneth, and he is how much does it allow you to catch?
It's like a psychometry power. It says that I can learn. Is it histories? I believe is the word it says. Yeah, sensing histories without the need to touch your subject. You don't need to touch the subject to learn its details. You must still be able to see and sense the subject.
Okay. So I feel like the kind of feel you get off of him isn't so much, yeah, we're doing this for Vance, go Team Vance. It's more like, I'm doing this for money, go Team Money. He could care less about the political ramifications of trying to assassinate these people so much as he's getting paid to do it.
All right.
Okay. So, go ahead.
If I can, I'm just going to turn and say, mercenaries.
Nice. So at least, I feel like, do you say it fairly loudly?
I mean, loud enough that over the noise of the crowd that, Lucio can make out what I'm saying.
Okay. Yeah, so everyone can hear that. Zilla, it's a little bit quieter, but you recognize Tremont's voice. Ksenia, what are you doing?
I think I'm just taking all of this in, because the mercenary assassins who were trying to run away, they were all caught, right?
There were several of them. You noticed that Lucio and Tremont have probably... Tremont's not holding the one down, but you saw the one disappear into the crowd. Like, not running away, but fall over. Lucio has one grappled.
Okay. I think I'll just sort of like wander up. What sort of weapons are they using?
They have swords.
Okay. Are they poisoned swords?
That's a good question. Go ahead and make a roll.
Because I have the taste of poison talent. All right.
So this one, so you're just going to exert your assassin. So it means you're going to go from a D10 down to a D8 for this scene.
Yes. Okay.
As you're growing, like getting closer to the fellow that Lucio has, you do notice that the sword that he's kind of like haphazardly waving ineffectively at Lucio is definitely coated with something. It's almost clear, but has just enough tinge, kind of a bluish greenish tinge that you were definitely sure there's something on his blade. Yes.
So I'll lean over to Lucio and say, "Don't let him scratch you with that."
It also...
and then,
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Is there any way to knock it out of his hand? Because I kind of want to like get closer and examine.
Sure.
Like, what kind of poison is this?
The way that Lucio has him held, you don't even need to like. You just kind of walk around the other side of him and just rip it out of his hands. I won't even make you roll for that one. He's having a hard time with Lucio's amazing grip.
Yeah, and I'll just like turn the sword over, see how it looks in the light, very carefully sniff it. So the talent says you're able to identify any poison, including knowing where it came from and who is likely to use such a poison.
Of course it says that. Do you know why? Because it doesn't.
Because you weren't given any of that information.
Right, because it doesn't say in here.
Oh no! Okay.
What do you think it's called? I'll tell you what it does. Even if the wound doesn't kill a person, there is like a kind of necrotic effect that spreads throughout the body, and somebody stabbed will die over time.
Oh, I mean, every cool name that's coming to mind belongs to another IP.
That's all right. We're
Oh, I suppose a good name would be something like Lingering Death.
Oh, nice, nice. And you're pretty sure this actually comes from the Wyeth Forest. Is that all the
Okay.
info that you get from that? So you got like what it does, what it's called, where it comes from.
Who is likely to use it?
So you're actually an assassin, so it's pretty common for assassins to use this. Mercenaries, to an extent, if they have knowledge of it, they will use this. Or if somebody was like, if you as assassin were to tell Lucio, hey, you should put this on your weapon. He's more of a mercenary than an assassin, but he would probably do it.
Yeah.
Okay. I am going to take the weapon to the noble lady. Did she have a name? Do we know her name?
Yeah, so she was the Lady Alonsa, I think. We're gonna go with that, because that's what I remember.
Yeah, and like I'll approach her like holding the weapon but not brandishing it
Right.
like this. Just sort of kneel in front of her, say they were assassins, Your Grace.
Okay.
Because I'm trying to ingratiate myself to her now.
Nice. So as you get closer, you've noticed that at this point she has her sword out, but looking around, the fellows in black have disappeared from that vicinity. You hear them kind of tussling with people off in the crowd, but she is now like knelt down next to the prince, and a couple of the other guards are like removing his mask. It looks like the wound on his side, given your history, it was a little sloppy. They're relying on the poison to kill him, so it definitely has caused him pain, and he's like clutching it. There's a guard holding a rag, like a handkerchief over it, but that poison will probably be what kills him instead of the wound. And you kneel down and you hold out the sword and you say that it was assassins. She eyes you, but then her attention goes back to the prince. You do see her lips move, and one of the guards near her kind of like leans in. She's softly speaking, and the sound from around you can't quite hear it. And then he stands up and moves over towards you. While that's happening, Zilla, what are you doing?
The guy who had the blood on, like the one who actually had the blood in knife, is that the one that's been like taken away?
It is not. He's actually on the other side of the group.
Okay.
But you do have an eye on him. It looks like as he's moving through, people are trying to stop him, but not like being. A lot of them are just commoners. They're just not villagers. They're just citizens of the city. They're not mercenaries or anything like that. So like some of them try to grab him, but he just like throws them off and like brandishes his sword, and so they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. So you definitely know where he's at, but he's not currently being held.
Can I use telekinetic control to pick him up and like slam him against something, or do something to make him stop moving?
Is this going to be? Are you going to try and do this secretively?
I don't care if it's covert at this point.
Perfect. Go ahead and do your.
I know who I'm looking at.
Let's see. Actually, so you just need to. Do you need to do anything? Let's see. Zilla cost none. Yeah, so you just pick him up, and there's like some crates nearby. He kind of skims over the heads of people that are ducking out of the way, and he smashes into the crates. Do you want to head towards him, or are you?
Yeah, I'll head toward him. My idea was at least to incapacitate him temporarily so somebody can actually stop him.
Okay. Cicera.
just gonna move up to the group, hand on my short sword, and I don't think I know enough about the situation to take too much of a defining action.
Okay. So you do see like a guard moving over to. Looks like he's going to speak to Kensia. I got your name wrong. Kensia. Yeah? No.
Ksenia.
Ksenia.
Darn you names. Ksenia. Do you want to interact with them at all, or do you essentially just take up a stance and wait?
Yeah, I'll stand by. I'll move up toward where Ksenia's at.
Okay.
And just, I guess, being nosy. I want to know what this guard's gonna say.
Sure.
Are you like right next to Ksenia?
That'd be probably a good idea, I feel like.
She will whisper, "He's only got a couple days left to live."
I'll hold on to that information.
Okay. So Lucio and Tremont, you're both fairly close to one another. Lucio has hold of one of these fellows. Tremont has knocked another over, but he's not restricted in any way. So what do you both want to do?
I was probably going to run up to the one that's knocked over.
Okay. So you push
What are
your
you
way
gonna
through
do
the crowd, which is actually getting
What?
easier to move through as people move away.
Sure. Do I have like a blade of some sort?
You should.
I didn't take any weapons.
That's fine. Do you want a sword or a dagger or a couple of daggers or?
Probably a couple of daggers,
Okay.
I would bet. And if at all possible, maybe a hand crossbow.
Sure.
So I'll pull the hand crossbow and I'll kind of step on the small of his back and just say, I wouldn't do that if I were you. You know?
He's like gripping his face, and you can see the pool of blood just spreading out on the ground below him. He murmurs something that's like, wouldn't do what? Lucio, what are you doing?
I'm assuming that Tremont is still the closest friend I got, right?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so I'm gonna bring my other friend over here, like, so that we're all in like the general vicinity, and then start using whatever hold I can do to start showing that like we are not playing, we are serious. You answer our questions, or you might not have a hand in like 3 minutes.
So like, right now you're just kind of bear hugging him, or you have a hold of him, and Ksenia took away his sword, and so you just like want to grab his arm and like twist.
Yeah.
And like maybe force him down to his knees and be like, if you don't answer, I'm just gonna rip this off and beat you with it. That kind of thing.
Yeah. Like
Okay.
you could be next to your friend.
So
but
I want you
between
to
the two of you, it'll be like 3 hands.
I want you to do a roll to intimidate this guy. So you choose with what. I'm also gonna give you an extra D4. I know his arm isn't technically a scene, like a piece of setting, but I'm gonna go with that's gonna give you a bonus that if you're twisting his arm around like that. And give me the sum.
Force. And yeah. 18.
Wow. Okay. So you hear, both of you, Tremont and Lucio, you both hear the cracking of his joints as Lucio just like twists. He just starts screaming, "Oh my God, I don't even care about this. I just need to get paid."
But that was easy.
Do you ask him anything, or you just like tell us and just start twisting his arm?
Tell
off?
us stuff to make me stop. Or I guess
I was just hired. To stab that guy. Just leave me alone.
keep going. Who
In the
hired you?
dredge, somebody in the dredge hired us, and then we were gonna get paid afterwards. They gave us some of the money up front. Here, take it. With his other hand, he reaches in and just like tosses some coins on the ground.
Yeah, that's not enough. Does somebody have a name?
I would like to reach down and pull the coins out of the one who I.
Sure. So yeah, you kind of lift your foot off the ground as you're stepping harder on his back and reach down and grab the coins out of his pocket. He's not going anywhere, and you put them in your coin pouch. You're listening as the other guy is dumping out his soul to Lucio.
I stole my uncle's wig.
Ksenia, what are you doing?
Yeah, so I kind of feel that like I should let people know like your dude has like a couple days to live. Like I don't want to shout it,
Yeah.
but I at least like so the guard's coming at me.
Uh-huh.
Like you need to tell her that he's about to.
Even though you can't see his face, you can see his eyes, and you see his eyes open in alarm, and he glances over. How do you know this?
I point to the sword, like you see this sheen right here. This is lingering death.
So he takes in the sheen and looks at you, and then he looks over at the lady and looks back at you, and then he kind of kneels down and leans into her and whispers to her. And she bows her head for a moment, and you kind of see her like shoulders shudder in a sob. And then she whispers back to him, and he stands back up, and he comes over to you. It would be well rewarded if someone could find the cure for this, and who's responsible. Do you know anyone such as this?
Would my character know how to make an antidote for this poison?
Sure.
Yeah, I'll say I can try.
And as far as tracking down those responsible?
Oh.
We have a couple here, Your Holiness.
This one is super helpful.
And Zilla and Cesarea, you're both kind of in that general vicinity. Cesara's watching. Zilla is smashing the one guy into the crates. Zilla, what are you going to do about that guy?
I'm gonna try to have him talk to me so that I can then use quick read to try to get information.
Gotcha. So are you going to move closer to him?
Yeah.
So as you move that way, like the crowd's kind of like parting before you, and he starts getting up, and I'm just going to assume that you're like, nope, and just keep like mooshing him. When you get there, what do you say to him?
Who sent you here?
At first, he doesn't say anything. Do you want to try and like intimidate him, or make it like pretty obvious you're the one smooshing him with your mind?
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll do the basically I can just keep doing this.
Sure. Go ahead and do a roll, choose your motivation method, and roll an extra d4.
Okay.
With your shiny math rocks.
I'm probably going to use honor. Can I use grace? I feel like grace would be appropriate, but I can't come up with words to explain why I feel like that.
That is just fine by me.
You said a d4?
Yeah.
Add to it. And then you want the highest or the sum?
Do the sum.
8.
Perfect. All right, so it takes a little show of force with your mind, like essentially, like you can't just like pick him up and hover him in the air. It's more of a push than like moving him around, but you just like every time he tries to get up, you just you put a look of concentration on, and maybe like this kind of flare gesture is what your grace part is. Like it's obvious that you are the one controlling this. And finally he just kind of sags down. He has his sword in his hand, but it's almost like, it's not that he doesn't know how to use it, but now that the poison is off of it, it's not quite such a sure-all weapon. Like, he's not really sure he can drop you with it. And so he just kind of drops it out of his hand. He says, I don't know who who it was. He hired us in the dredge
What was your actual goal?
to get paid.
No, what was your actual goal given to you?
He nods off towards the prince, but doesn't say anything.
You were supposed to take down the prince.
Yes.
All right, and then I guess I don't know if I can I hold him and do the quick read, or do I need to like let him go, or can I call somebody else to come hold him, or?
No, I'll go ahead and let you do the quick read on him without needing to.
Okay. All right, how do I do that? I roll.
Sorry, let me double check what quick read does. So
Yeah,
it
it's
says
under my
exert.
talents.
So you're going to exert astrologer, which means your astrologer die is going to go from D8 to D6 for the rest of the scene.
Okay, but I use a D8 this time, right?
So you're actually not going to roll anything. So all you have to
Okay.
do is exert. So you're just dropping your die down. Essentially, it's like
Okay.
kind of like a strain on your resources. And it
Okay.
says after having a conversation with someone, you can quickly consult the stars to gain a single piece of information about them. So even though like some of the dust is like filtering down from above, you kind of glance up and take in what the sky is telling you. What question do you want answered?
Where do I locate? No. Where are they meeting this person again to get their reward?
Nice. So even though he told you that the dredge is where they were hired, you get the feeling that's not where he was heading afterwards. He was heading somewhere higher, the highest area in the city. And just being from here and like knowing the city, you know that the sky tombs are the highest place in the city.
Okay. I'm gonna shout to everyone else the sky tombs, but I'm gonna keep watching him to see what his face says when I yell that.
Yeah. So his face is covered with a mask, but you definitely see this alarm in his eyes. And he
Okay.
says, "How did you know that?"
Doesn't really matter.
You hear him mutter "Mind Witch" in kind of under his breath.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, so Sunny and Tremont, what are you two doing?
I mean, I'm kind of pissed my new friend couldn't give me that information, but I guess he's useless now.
I'm gonna say you mentioned a reward. Is that correct?
That the guard that said that to Ksenia will nod in your direction.
How much is this one worth? And I kick him with my other foot that's not standing on him. He's a little broken.
You're gonna fall over doing that.
All right. I'm sure that arrangements can be made. I'm not sure this is the time to count your money.
Just asking. Just want to make sure that the right parties get paid. My associate here is going to work on the antidote for you, and I think my other associate over there got a lead on where we might find the where these people are heading anyway.
Okay.
So if you want to seize him or off with his head or whatever it is you people do, we should get to the rest of that helping you stuff, Your Eminence.
And the guard that you've been talking with, the guard that you're talking with does tell the other guards to seize the two that you're holding, and sends another off to grab the one that Zilla has been smooshing.
I want to keep my friend, if at all possible,
Okay.
at least for a little bit.
Yeah, the guard who moves up to you moves to take him. Do you say what do you?
It'll be polite. I'll be like, wait, I have a plan that we could use him to find the source of, or at least get closer to the source. So if you could let us keep him for a while, and we'll be sure to deliver him in as many pieces that are still there after we're done.
And the one who's going to take him looks over at the one who you're all kind of get the feeling he's the captain at least of this small group of guards, kind of questioningly, and the captain nods, and so he just moves away, like he's still nearby, but he's letting you do whatever. So Sarah, what are you doing?
I'll move over to Sunny and just give you anything? Did he give you any useful information, or did he just?
Not useful enough, but just his presence could be helpful in drawing out at least the person who has the money.
Excuse me 1 second. I'm gonna frisk this dude.
Okay. The guy that you had, or the one that Lucio
The one
has?
that we're still holding on to.
Okay.
The other one's not my problem anymore.
So he already dumped his coinage, and you stole the coinage out of the other guy's pockets, right? Okay. Otherwise, he just has like a couple of chits in like another pocket, so he didn't like dump everything, obviously. So you
Sure.
pocket those. He doesn't have any other stuff on him. No,
I just want to make
identifying.
sure he has no weapons,
Yeah.
no lock picks, no, flashbang grenades,
Right.
no weird.
Yeah, other than the weapons that Lucio like disarmed him, which he had like Ksenia disarmed him. He had the sword that had the poison on it. He doesn't have anything else on him.
Excellent.
Okay. So, with this information, and with the would-be assassins who have been captured, the others have disappeared into the crowds. What do you all want to do?
Ksenia will circulate amongst her friends who are here and just whisper, they're going to pay us a lot of money if we can find out who did this and maybe come up with an antidote in time.
Do you have any leads on either one of those two things? I heard Zilla shout about the tombs.
Yeah, if I can get a sample of what they used, I might be able to use that right into an antidote.
Don't you have the sword?
Yes, but it's been used.
So,
So you need one
Oh, sorry. Go
that
ahead.
hasn't been. Oh, just do you need one that hasn't been?
You do have the one sword that still has the poison on it, Ksenia.
Oh, okay. So could I use that to develop the antidote?
So you're gonna need some stuff, and it's stuff that isn't really, sold at the local
Mm-hmm.
fish market or something. There's a place called the Cavern that essentially the guy who runs it is a drug dealer, and many of the things that you need can be got. Like, he would have those.
Okay. Yeah, if I can get someone to watch my back in the cavern.
I'll go with you.
Is
All right, are we splitting up? Is
I was
that the
gonna
plan?
say, is everyone going, or are you splitting the party?
Yeah, that was kind of my thought too. Was like, splitting the party is not usually a great idea.
I'm gonna ask this friend, when are you supposed to meet your money giver person?
Just before dawn.
Can we be
Is that-
back by then?
Oh yeah.
Excellent. Well then, what do you want to do with this guy while we go buy drugs?
Last question. Has this person seen you, or do they only know to expect people in black robes and masks?
Oh no, when they came to hire us, they were the ones wearing a mask, and we were just ourselves.
Okay, fine. I guess we'll tie him up, bring him along.
Okay.
I like the idea. I just don't want to babysit him.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you pick up strays.
True. Okay. Strip down to your skivvies. We're taking your stuff, and then
What?
you're free to go to jail.
Wait, what? What do you know?
And then I'll call, if there are any guards left, call them back. Like, we're taking the outfit, though.
Yeah, at this point, some of the guards are like lifting the prince, who moans in pain. It definitely looks like he's not reacting like he just got stabbed. He's reacting like maybe almost like he's drunk. So obviously something else is going on, and they lift him and start carrying him off. And the lady is going with them, but the guards that you've been talking with are still there, and they're more than happy to help you remove his goods and take him with them.
Yeah.
So you have an outfit. Does anyone want to don it, or are you going to save it for later?
We'll save it for later. They just assassinated somebody we probably don't want to be.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Don't get confused.
Yeah.
I don't suppose there's in the cavern. I don't suppose there's also a tailor by chance.
There is not. Most of you know that the cavern is essentially a drug den where people go to do various drugs or buy various drugs, but a lot of them will do them there. It's actually like literally a hole in the wall of a couple of buildings that have been abandoned, and it's like the alley and like some of the rooms off to the side that have like they've knocked the walls down onto, or from, not onto.
Is there a tailor on the way to the cavern?
You could probably find one, absolutely.
So
Now,
why don't we
whether or not
stop?
they're open because of the festival, you'll have to find
Right.
out.
Well, yeah, I was going to suggest we could stop on the way there, see if they can fabricate a couple of duplicates of this while we're buying drugs.
Gotcha. So as you're like kind of holding it and looking at it, it does look like this is just a costume. It could be that there is a place that, they're all the same. So it's kind of like going to the Spirit Store or Halloween City, and like everyone got the Jack Skellington mask to wear to this, that kind of thing. Maybe
Sure.
there's a store that has these also, so you can keep your eye out for that.
Yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye peeled. I just want to, if it's at all possible to get everyone a copy, I would prefer to do so.
Perfect.
I'm not going to like take us out of the way for it.
Okay. Let's just do an odd or even on that. So, Travis, odd or even?
I'll go with even because never tell me the odds.
All right, so you all start heading towards the dredge, which is where the cavern is located. The dredge is on the same level as the plaza that you were in, and so essentially you just go through this labyrinth of tunnels. You do need to take a gondola down part of one of the aqueducts, and then you jump off, and there's a slight ramp that goes up to the street that leads down. The aqueduct is part of that street, and so it just kind of continues on, and you're walking on one side. The aqueduct drops off, and the other side is a bunch of businesses. Most of them are closed, but some of them, like the food vendors, have at least a cart outside or something. And you do notice, Tremont, that shop over there is open, and it has all of these outfits hanging off the doors and everything, and one of those outfits is the one that's in Lucio's hands.
I'll catch up, and I run over to the store.
Okay. So Ksenia, the cavern is just down the way over there, and then you'll have to take a couple of small alleys off to the side. You trust Tremont knows the way, and as you make your way down there, you notice there are a lot more people in this vicinity tonight than typical. Many of them definitely seem impaired by whatever drugs they've taken, and as you climb through that like crack in the wall that leads into the cavern, there are dozens of people in here. You've never seen so many, and many of them are just like lying on blankets they've brought. The cavern has some furniture that's all taken. There's some sofas and some chairs. The heavy cinnamon smell of, I think it's called Ken. I could be wrong on that. Which is grown in the Wyeth Forest, is just like thick in the air. It's almost as bad as like being up on the rooftops when there's a sandstorm. It's just thick in the air, right? Secondhand high? Absolutely. Woo! So
That's what the scarf is for.
right? So everyone's kind of heading in, yeah? Or do some of you stay outside?
Head again.
Okay. Cicera.
Also heading in.
Okay. And Zilla.
Yeah, I'll go in. I was trying to make sure there wasn't some reason I wouldn't.
Sounds good. Let me find this fellow's name. Asansa. So you see this fellow Asansa. He's kind of a bigger fellow. He has I can't think of what they're called, but essentially it's like an apron that has all these pockets on the front, and like almost like you would see at a ball game where they're like selling popcorn, except for all of these things like it's more vertical. Vertical? Yeah, vertical. Instead of like just a big tray in front of him, although he does have a small tray at the bottom. And there's vials and pills and different things that look kind of like wooden sticks. You know he's the fellow in charge of this area.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just walk up and greet him. Hey, Asansa, how's business? Oh, someone's getting mauled by a cat.
Yay, kitties!
Sorry. Otherwise, he'll scream the whole time. So.
Hey.
Yeah,
How's it
looks
going?
like business is good today.
Oh, business is amazing tonight. I don't think I've ever had a small moon festival quite this busy.
Well, I've got a couple things I need to get pretty quickly.
You?
No, it's for something else.
Oh, okay. What do you need?
And then I'll list off the antidote ingredients.
Sure. Starts rooting around in his pouches and that tray in front of him and pulls out some things. How much do you need?
How much you got?
So I've got 4 of these ones and 2 of this. I've only got 1 left of this. Is that going to be enough?
15%.
Let's hope.
Yeah. Good answer.
Yeah, I'll take it all.
Oh wow. Okay. That'll be 30 shits.
Do I have that much money?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah.
And if you don't, Tremont definitely does when he gets. Actually, Tremont might be spending it on costumes. I was gonna say you have that money from the fellows being taken.
If I didn't, I would just ask for it on credit. I'd be like, no, it's a sure thing. I promise.
Sure, yeah. Do I want to know what that's for?
You'll find out.
All right. I trust you. Just remember, if you have any bad effects, come back. I've got hopefully the thing that'll make it go the other way.
Oh, on that, has anyone else been buying these ingredients? Because we only have one other.
I mean, all day people have been buying everything up, but all together, there was one guy who came in, but it was yesterday, I think, or maybe it was. I don't remember exactly when, but it was definitely before the festival started. He bought, all of this stuff and then, a few other things. It's a little sketchy, but
Yeah, did he give a name? Any distinguishing characteristics?
man, what was his name? He didn't give me his name, and he had one of those faces that just, like, he had a kind of a big nose, but other than that, I don't really remember much about him. Sorry.
Okay. If you think of anything, let me know.
He was dressed a little funny. I thought he was dressed like an Illianer instead of somebody from here, but I could be wrong. I don't really stay on top of fashion that well, so.
No, that's very helpful. And so, like, character or player question.
Sure.
Like, is there any sort of tension between we're in Vance? Is there any tension
Correct.
between Vance and Ilian?
So supposedly they're allies, but Ilian has a flying ship fleet, and so they like to hold that over other people. There's only one other city that has the flying ships, and so like Vance has a certain grudging respect for them. as far as you get the feeling that it's more out of I don't want to say fear, but definitely like they don't want to go to war with Ilion.
Probably.
Knowing about that alliance between Coronal and Vance,
Probably.
even though Coronal doesn't have flying ships either, it would definitely change the shift in power. Like it would shift the power structure in the area because they would have a larger army at that point.
Okay. All right. So this is just high-level nobles taking pot shots at each other.
Right.
Cool.
Oh,
Whatever, as long as I
politics.
get paid.
All right, so what's everyone else doing? Tremont, you're in the costume shop.
Yeah, I'll just grab the one example
Mm-hmm.
and say, you got 3 more of these?
Yeah, let me check. Hang on one sec. He comes out. I do have 3 more of those. In fact, that's all I have left. It was weird. I sold so many of these in the last couple of days.
Was there one group that bought, or one person that bought a bunch of them?
I mean, one guy bought a few, and then some other people came in and bought them separately. Why? Are you worried that you're just dressing up like everyone else for the festival?
No. Somebody wearing one of these took a pot shot at the royalty.
I want you to know I had nothing to do with that.
I'm sure you didn't. But do you remember who bought? Like, do you have? I'm supposed to keep a ledger.
Well, I'm pretty sure that Fern is one guy that bought him. I mean, he lives just right down the road. I can't think of that other kid's name, but he's one of Fern's friends. I'm pretty sure he bought one. I don't know the guy who bought several.
Any distinguishing features? Anything?
He had kind of a bigger nose. He wasn't dressed like he was from around here, though. I'm pretty sure he was an Ilioner.
All right, thanks. Can I get the rest of these?
Yeah, you just take those and you tell the crown that we did everything that we could to help you track down these people, because we had nothing to do with this.
You can bet on it. Sorry about the difficulty, and I flick him a chit.
Oh, well, thank you.
Walk away.
Okay.
With my costumes.
Absolutely. Just leave those there. All right. So Zilla, Lucio, and Cicera, what are you 3 doing?
I think I'm just observing, just to
Okay.
make sure that they don't need me right now.
Okay.
I'm talking to somebody who's on something, and I find them endlessly hilarious.
Yeah. One of them is retelling your story that you told earlier, but as though they were the one who did it.
Ooh. Is it different enough that I'm like, okay, that's a separate story? Like, I can use that one as well. Like, instead of puppies, it's like an octopus that I saved underwater or something.
Right. And there was something about like pants coming down or something about somebody's, swinging in the wind. But you couldn't tell if it was the guy who was talking or the person they were fighting against. That part is garbled for sure. Not 100% sure that. I mean, it's definitely the same story, but it's unclear as to who is the hero of this by the time they're done telling it.
I mean, I feel like I should be flattered that he loves my story so much he's stealing it for his own. So I am fine with that one for today and just enjoying the storytelling.
Excellent. And Cicera?
Keeping an eye out, seeing if there's any individuals that maybe managed to slip away that are wearing that garb in this location.
You don't see anyone wearing that garb, and no one is like acting shady when they come in, beyond like, hey, I'm going into a drug den.
Gotcha. And just keeping watch.
Okay. So everyone's going to meet back up, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So as you all meet back up outside of the alley that leads down to the cavern, Tremont is carrying several of those outfits. It looks like one for each of you, except for the costume you already had. Ksenia has drugs. You're pretty sure with the antidotes that you already have mixed, adding in what you have purchased, and you have a little bit more than you need, but it never hurts to have those on hand.
Yep.
That you can come up with a. You just need to get to your your burner and like the little vials that you use to mix everything. You feel like you're going to want to do that after you go and try and catch this guy from escaping, but you also feel like you have the time to do that.
Yeah, it's going to take him a couple days to die. It's fine.
Right. He can suffer for a little bit longer. For the crown.
Maybe teach him a little bit of empathy.
Yeah. So what's your plot? Your plan?
Well, so I assume we share information and figure out that there was this big-nosed aliener running around.
Yeah. And
So-
somebody learned that they were leaving from the Sky Tombs just before dawn.
That sounds like a lead.
Everybody want to head up there?
Yeah, I mean, I think
Yeah.
we should probably throw on these costumes so that they don't, see us coming a mile away
Okay.
Agreed.
and head up that way. Maybe we cook up a story that we got away. Also, some of them got away, so
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
should
Right.
probably be prepared for eliminating those folks.
Okay.
Mhm.
So one of you, I don't remember exactly who, had pointed out that these people might be being looked for. When do you want to put on those costumes? Like, do you want to put them on now, or do you want to wait till you get up higher?
I think once we get to the area where we would first be accessing the actual tombs area,
Okay.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if the neighborhood or the bottom of the tombs, wherever we'd be likely to be spotted and approaching, I think that's where we stop just shy of there and get costumes on.
Excellent. So as you all head out of the dredge, you realize that the windstorm must have died down. There is a dust falling down on you from above. And Zoe, you notice the stars are shining very brightly as the moon looks down on you. And you feel like seeing this constellation over here with the moon where it is, you just get this feeling that you're on the right track and that if everything goes well, you have the tools that you need to save the prince.
Awesome. I'll let everybody know that my inclination is to think we're on the right track.
Okay. And as you head up, the party is all the way from the ground levels up through all of the terraces and stairways, and so it takes you a bit of time to kind of push your way through some of the crowds and everything, but you definitely feel that well before dawn you make it up to a level that just gets quiet. The party doesn't spill into the tombs. There's a certain respect for the dead that are buried there, and it's a little ghosts are a very real thing in this world, and so people tend to stay away from the tombs unless they're actively burying someone or are on guard duty up here, the grave shift. But as you get up there, you notice there aren't any guards. It's very weird. You especially those of you who have maybe taken part in shadier activities that might have used this area for meat, or if you went to lift any goods from those who aren't actively using them anymore, you definitely know there are guards that patrol this area, and so you kind of are looking around for them, and there's nothing.
That's weird.
Are there any places that are normally a guard post?
You definitely know that tower over there usually has a guard on it, so he can keep an eye on everything, and then there's wandering guards that will move through this area. That guard is definitely not there, and there are some other posts, you just can't see them from here, but you should be able to see some that are moving across the rope walkways that go in between, and there definitely should be a guard right there.
Can I make it to that tower relatively quickly?
Sure. Does everyone...
Like to run out? Oh.
I was just going to say, is everyone going with him, or are you kind of like spreading out?
I'm gonna spread out and see if there's anything I can notice, like on this level.
Okay. Lucio?
I'm gonna go with him unless it's like clear he's trying to be like kind of sneaky about it.
Tremont, do you stop him from going with you?
No, I'm not trying to be particularly sneaky or anything.
Okay, yeah, I'm booking it too.
Okay. Cicero?
I'm gonna try to take a more general assessment of the area.
Perfect.
It's spreading out as well.
Okay.
Again, keeping eyes on the area.
Sounds good. Gilbert, roll me a d4.
Absolutely.
Don't mess this up, Gilbert.
I'm gonna do my absolute best.
3. You are, as you're kind of spreading out, you pass by a tomb, and it's one of the lower ones, but you hear voices from inside. They're kind of hushed, so it's hard to understand what they're saying, but you definitely hear like at least a couple of people talking.
Is it possible to try to sneak into this tomb, or is this just going to be like big stone?
I mean, they are kind of big doors. This one looks like it's stone. Is it possible to open it quietly? You would have to really try it to find out.
I will attempt it. I'm
Okay.
gonna mess this up.
So you go ahead and pick your dice and roll those.
Gotcha.
A lot of that going around.
I don't know what motivation would be, but
Maybe for self, because you're trying. I would say for self or for honor. Probably not for strength, or sorry, for force, because forcing it would be like kicking it open.
yeah. So I'll do for honor with grace.
Okay.
Now I give. Oh, I give you the total or the highest.
Go ahead and give me the total.
3.
So you go to open it, and it does start moving silently, and you're just like, oh, this must be a well cared for. Oh, never mind. And you look in, and there's like a couple of guards, and they're staring at you, and they have their weapons raised, but they look fearful. Like they look defensive, and like they're trying to figure out how to get away from you.
Peace. Just no worries here. Just
Look, we
just
we
late
told
or
you we weren't gonna take your money, but we're not gonna interfere. Just stay away.
I'm not here to hurt you.
Okay, well that's good. What do you want?
Well, I heard voices and got curious. You know, I wasn't expecting to see anybody else here.
Well, we can't just pretend. We can't just like go off to the party and have our captain catch us or anything. We had to go to work, but we're just gonna stay out of the way. What more do you want from us?
No, that's perfectly acceptable. It wasn't me that you made the deal with. You mind telling me who exactly you made this deal with, so I can be on the same page as you all? There seems to be miscommunication here.
They both eye you and then look at each other. What do you mean you're not the one? Are you just with him? Are you looking
Yes.
for him? He's supposed to
ally.
be. He's supposed to be over on that tomb over there that has a name. That I can't find right now. So it's that tomb over there, and he gestures.
Understood. I apologize for the intrusion. I didn't mean to startle you at all. I hope that this isn't going to put a damper on things.
One of them just kind of like moves forward slightly and catches hold of the doorknob and just slowly pulls the door shut. And then it hits the well-oiled area and just closes the door.
Okay. I'm not locked into with them, right?
No.
Cool. I will quickly find an ally and let them know that there's a tomb with a gentleman that made a deal with the guards.
Okay. So you see Lucio and Tremont are like really the closest, and they're moving their way over to a tower where there should be a guard. They're almost there. You see the path that you can get there. It's not really the one that they're on. You can go this rope bridge to that rope bridge and catch up with them pretty quickly. Ksenia is kind of down over there instead, and Zilla is pretty much right above Ksenia, but on a different rope bridge as they're all kind of like moving through and converging.
Gotcha. They seem to be on their way to do something, so if I could get to Ksenia and Zilla.
Yeah, Ksenia's just poking around.
Okay. And Zilla? Same? Okay.
Yeah.
So, Cicero, you take a route that'll lead you to catch up with them, and together you can kind of figure out how to get to the other tower where Tremont and Lucio are. Meanwhile, Tremont and Lucio, you get there, and there's no sign of a guard whatsoever.
I would like to use my adaptability and try to basically use psychometry to figure out what happened here.
Okay. So do you get like a sense of recent events?
It's essentially, as far as I understand it, it's the history. It's important, events that have taken place. Something like if there's, like a important thing is more likely than a
Right.
recent thing,
So
So
like,
if there was like a big battle here 10 years ago, I might get that
yeah,
rather than like somebody got knocked out yesterday. But
I feel like you would get the sense that this tomb is that of like one of the princesses of old, but nothing has really, other than that, nothing really important has happened on this tomb. Like the guard not being there probably isn't important enough to constitute any separation in that.
all right.
Lucio, what are you doing when you get there?
Was that at me?
No, Lucio, sorry.
In my times of like thieving, because I would assume like there are many times when I wanted the guards to not be there,
Right.
and they were there. Can I just like take a wild, like educated but still just wild guess of like why the fuck they're just not here?
Sure. You know that some of the guards are willing to look the other way for bribes. Some are not so easily swayed. So, is it possible that an entire shift of guards was bribed? It would be weird. But maybe it just happened to fall that way. All
And
those
especially if
guys had to
there's-
work on Thursday, and tonight's Thursday, and it just happened, or maybe something happened to scare off the other guards.
Especially if enough money is involved,
Yeah.
perhaps. Because whoever this person is swagging shits everywhere.
Right.
I'm gonna start looking for some money. Maybe they just like left some money around.
Sure. Odd or even.
Odd.
You don't find
Odd.
anything.
It's odd that I don't see any money here. Okay.
Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah, I mean, besides my psychic powers and what I can obviously see, I have nothing.
Okay.
So, you said this is a princess's tomb?
Yep.
Would I gather that the riches inside this tomb would be more than what we would be looking at for our reward?
Gotcha. Potentially, you do know most thieves choose not to rob these tombs because angry ghosts suck. But totally your call.
I would like to look for any sort of secret doors. Like maybe they're not meeting like in the tomb, but
Right.
there's like a hidden tunnel or something in the area, and
Okay.
that's what they use.
Gotcha. So Cicero joins Ksenia, and Zilla is like on a path just above them. You all can talk with each other like quietly and not catch attention from others. And as you all converge on one of these towers, Ksenia is looking around for any kind of like things that might be out of the ordinary in order to open some kind of secret door. You don't see anything right now, but if anything changes as you're looking around, I'll let you know.
So there's a tomb. The two. I just ran into two guards.
You did.
Yeah. They said that there was a tomb that they're supposed to meet with someone who was dressed like us, or rather, they had made a deal to stay out of the way. It seems.
Where's that?
That tomb. Insert name here.
And he points at one of the highest tombs out here. The higher they are, the most recent they are. So this is somebody who's died fairly recently. It sure is a long walk to get up to there. Why they would be meeting at that one is just so weird.
I turn to Sonny and I say, listen, we're sitting on a free-for-all here. There's no guards. I think we need to make a moral decision, and I think I'm probably the least equipped to make it.
I just have this vision of Sonny and Tremont running around, just be like, making it rain, and throwing like crowns and necklaces and stuff off, because you can't carry it all, so might as well share the riches with the poor.
I mean, if you're coming to me for morality, gotta be honest, I also question your judgment. Okay, I will say this, yeah? What they say, morally speaking, stealing from the dead is wrong or bad, or someone gave them a gift. Here's the thing. Remember, that if someone gives me a gift and I don't use it, I want you to take it back.
Likewise. I'm thinking here, like, I understand, like, ghosts are a thing.
We outrun like living people, so we can outrun dead people, I assume.
I mean,
Best logic ever.
That's kind of my thought. How long do we have till the sun comes up? Can we do both?
Maybe an hour and a half?
How legendary would it be if we could like rob this tomb and
get up there, do the hero thing, because
right.
we're like paying for the robbing of the tomb with the saving of a life.
Right, and it's probably a descendant of one of these people that's buried here that we're saving.
We're actually doing them a favor. They're
right. So they have no reason to haunt us.
You know, see, this is why I like you. Like you just cut straight to the heart of it. I'm in.
All right.
So Zilla, while they're talking and you're kind of like looking around and, you know, being on the level that you're on gives you a little bit more of an advantage than when you were down lower. And when Cicero had pointed out the other tomb, you noticed there was this like star over it. It was like almost like a star of ill omen, but you're not sure if that ill omen is for you or for someone else. But while you're looking at it, you notice the door to that tomb open slightly. And someone peeks out and looks around. and then goes back in and closes it. Do you want to do anything with that info?
Was it? I'm sorry. Was it me who noticed?
That was Zilla.
Okay.
Oh, are you muted?
I think Sarah's muted.
You are muted.
I am because the cat keeps screaming.
Oh no.
Yeah, he just has a very sad sound, so it sounds like he's being tortured. Yeah, I don't like. Is there anything I can discern from that information? Like, is there?
It's definitely weird that someone's hiding in the tomb, and if that's where they're supposed to meet the fellow who hired them, that might be the guy who hired them, or it might be one of the others who did escape, and they might be like waiting, and they're like, "Where is the guy?" So you get the feeling it's probably one of the
related to that. Yeah. Okay. And are we still kind of grouped up, or have we separated?
I feel like you've all come together. Is that unless someone else has argument against that?
They're all kind of like layered by one another.
Right, but yeah, we can communicate pretty easily. Yeah, I'll point that out to everybody then.
Okay.
Even as discreetly as possible.
Even better, we go take them out now. We don't have to go, like, she said the prince is going to live for days, right? So, like, we go take out the guy, tie him up, make good with as much out of here as we can, and then we go collect the reward.
I mean, this plan is flawless, honestly.
Thank you.
I mean, I'm not super into tomb raiding. I think we gotta go take care of that guy first.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look out afterward.
Because we're doing the raiding.
Right.
Okay.
And if you see any guards or anything, make a noise like a whippoorwill.
Whippoorwill, whippoorwill. Look up here, look up here. Hey, you. All right, Cicero, what are you thinking? Cicero?
Sorry, I was having an audio issue.
Oh, no worries.
Still having...
Hooray, tech problems.
I love my life. I apologize. I missed portions of your question. I turned robotic for a moment.
Oh, gotcha. What would you like to do?
Stick with the group for the most part. So,
okay.
If, there's a lot going on. So I'm gonna stick with the largest portion of the group if they're spread out.
Okay. So Ksenia, Zilla, and Cicero, you're all pretty much on the same level, and you can get to that tower by going this way. And Tremont and Sunny, you can get there going that way, but you feel like you'll all get there around the same time. But as you get to the stairwell, it's going to lead you up to the top of the tower. Lucio and Tremont, you hear steps ahead of you. Like footsteps.
I would like to rush toward them.
Okay. Lucio, what are you doing?
Drawing the bastard sword.
Okay. So for this, we're going to go ahead and do a combat scene. So all of you are going to pick 3 dice. Those dice are going to represent either strike, which you use for attacks, parry, which you use to dodge or get out of the way or block attacks, or stunts, which are moving, interacting with scenery, stuff like that.
And how do we choose which shape to pick?
You ask all the good questions.
They're all D10s, but theoretically different colors.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Okay,
I
thanks.
can do that.
Right?
And that's
Blue
just to keep track of which one is
orange
which.
one, for the purple one.
And then go ahead and roll all of those dice. Put them in front of you in numerical order going from highest to lowest. And then when I call your number, tell me what your action is if you have a die of that number that you wish to use. So like if there's no one around to attack and you have your attack die, then there's nothing really that you use it for on that turn. Is that what you get from that, Travis?
Yeah.
Okay.
My only question about that is how does it work if, because I happened to roll my strike die as highest and my stunt die as lowest.
Right.
I was planning on using my stunt die for movement.
Gotcha.
So can I reserve the strike and parry for if I get to this person?
I see what you're yeah, so because you weren't in combat when you ran up to this person, that was your initiation of combat. So you don't need,
so I do get close enough.
right. So you don't need to use your strike die. No,
Stunt die.
Stunt die. There are too many dice to
What
remember.
What are the three names? There's stunt die,
Parry, and strike.
parry, and strike. Okay. Stunt, parry, strike. All right. Okay. I couldn't
Awesome.
remember all the words.
Okay, so let's start at 10. Who has a 10 for anything?
I have a 10 for strike. For strike.
Okay. So you run up, and this fellow who's wearing these kind of like loose-fitting clothes that you're pretty sure aren't from around here. They're very... we're going to go just for visual. They're very piratey. Like that loose billowing shirt. There is a vest over that, and then he's got some like pants that are kind of billowy, some turned down top boots, and then he has a tricorn hat. Very large nose, like obscenely large. And he glances behind him as you go running up because the sound of your steps definitely caught his attention, but he was not expecting you. So what do you do?
Well, what I'd like to do, if possible, is pin him to the nearest wall with my hand crossbow.
Okay, so
By
go
that
ahead.
Flappy shirt.
So we're gonna do a opposed check.
And what do I need to roll?
Yes. You were gonna roll so you're gonna choose which your motivation and your method.
Oh, self-grace.
Right. And I'm going to find his stat block. There he is. What did you get?
Some or...
Some, yeah.
9.
9. Yeah, so as he turns, you notice a weapon in his hands. Like he's drawing out from his belt. But then like your bolt goes through. Were you like trying to shoot him in the... Are you trying to aim for flesh or are you trying to aim for clothing?
Was that because of the billowy nature of the shirt, I'd be able to get the shirt.
Absolutely. Okay.
Put it against the wall.
Yeah, so you like... actually, you succeeded. No, you succeeded, so I explained this. So your bolt goes through the shirt, clangs into the stone of the wall, but like the stone is kind of sandstony, so it's like soft. Chips fly off, and the bolt does go into it. All right. On a 9, who has a 9?
I have a 9 for
Okay.
The one that's not strike or parry.
Stunt. So you can move with that one.
And I have a 9
Okay.
strike.
Okay.
How far off are they now from us? Because they went running.
Yeah. So the way it works, instead of like you have so much movement, like you move 30 feet or something like that, you can use your stunt die to move a zone. So the zone you're in right now, you can move to the zone that they're in with your stunt die. I keep trying to say strike. I apologize. Your stunt die can move you into that zone. So if you would like to do that, that's absolutely what it's...
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep, that's what I'll do.
Okay, so Zola goes running over there. You see down the steps that circle around this, there is a fellow, his nose sticking out in shadow, that Tremont has essentially nailed to the wall. And then, Tremont, did you have something to say or a question?
I have a 9 for my parry die.
Gotcha. Okay. So if he attacks you on or after this turn, you can use that parry. Like it hasn't gone away yet. So,
Excellent.
and Lucio, you have a strike. So you're in the same zone. You don't need to spend a movement to get there. How would you spend this strike die if you choose to do so?
Take the butt of the sword and just try like give him a concussion to
Okay.
calm him down.
Go ahead and roll your dice.
Let us see. That will be you. And you. 7.
A 7. He actually dodges out of the way, and you hear like the ripping of cloth as he does so. That was a 9, right? Okay, 8. What would you like to
Me.
do? What die is yours
I'll-
on?
I'm sorry?
What kind of die is yours?
Strike. I would
Okay.
like to stab this dude.
Okay, so you're in the zone outside of it. You can shoot him, or you can like kind of shoot at him if you have a shooting weapon. But you and Zilla and Sarah actually started the zone out. Sorry, I should have explained that better. So you need to move up one zone in order to strike.
Mm-hmm.
Which unfortunately,
So-
I'm assuming your stunt die was too low to move first, right?
So my stunt die is a 7.
Okay. So it doesn't say. I think you can hold your die to go later. Does that sound right, Travis?
I believe so, yes.
Okay. So if you want
Alright.
to hold your higher dice for later, like if you get a parry of 9 and it doesn't happen this turn, you can hold it for later. So if you'd like to move later and then stab him, you can totally do that.
I will do that.
If I'm wrong about this and you're watching and you know better than me, let me know.
I've got a bonus when I'm using close combat weapons.
Gotcha.
So I definitely want to get closer before I
Makes
dab.
sense. So that was an 8. So on a 7, you have a stunt die, correct?
Yes.
And then does anyone else have a 7?
I have a
seven.
parry.
Okay.
I have a stunt die.
Okay. So Ksenia is going to spend her stunt die to run in and then attack. Is that correct?
Yes.
Go ahead and roll that attack.
All right. So I'm doing this to get patronage from the royal family. So I'm doing it for myself.
Gotcha.
I am doing this probably with cunning because I'm looking for the tender bits.
Fair enough.
So that would give me 2d10. I also want to exert my grace to deal an additional strain.
Oh, wow. Okay. Go ahead and roll.
Let me just note down that I exerted grace. Okay. 2d10. Let's hope my dice behave. Oh, they did behave. That is a 13.
Wow. So what is your usual damage? Is it 1?
Yes.
And you're going to exert an extra 1. So what weapon are you using here?
Probably, a very nice, slender stiletto type dagger. Definitely an assassin's weapon. And I don't think I would have pre-poisoned it, but I'm still gonna freak this guy out and stab and enjoy the taste of your own medicine.
Nice.
freak 'em out.
Nice. You know, one thing we did not talk about at the beginning of this is, are they drama dice? Drama points?
Yes, drama points.
Get a drama point for that because it's totally in character and awesome. Everyone also starts with 3 drama points,
Okay.
which you...
And those add a D4, right?
Sorry, I'm trying to find it quickly. Drama points. Okay, so you can... So you can spend the drama points to do great deeds, insert plot twists, compensate when the tables turn. What does it just do? Okay, so exceptional action. When rolling a basic action, you can add a third die. Just to scratch. After combat, you can use one to remove half of your strain. Lore, you can use your drama point to... You just happen to know an obscure truth or rumor that helps in the current situation. Plot twist, fate intervenes in the character's favor. For example, an ally might show up at a time to help fend off assassins, etc. You can rally where you spend... This is where you get the D4. If you rally in combat, you can spend one to get a D4 and add the result to your action dice. And then second wind, you're going to... After resolve roll, you're going to add a D4 and add it to the result. So, like, if you start taking damage, you have to do a resolve at the end of the turn. Otherwise, you are unconscious.
So, would it be useful for me to expend one of my drama points to roll extra hurty right now?
I'm going to go with no, because
Okay.
it would kind of be a waste of the drama point, because you've already really messed this guy up. So essentially you go down and you just calmly... He's looking the other direction because Tremont has shot him and Lucio's like right there. Just like he bashed the tomb next to him. Chips are flying off. And the guy is like spinning away from Lucio's attack as you just slip that dagger right between a couple of his ribs. You hear like the pop of his lung. And he looks at you just wide-eyed, like was not expecting that. Zilla, you have what kind of die?
Parry.
Okay, so you hold that one until someone attacks you, and Tremont, you have
A stunt die.
a stunt die. What would you like to do?
If possible, I would like to disarm. If that doesn't work, I was going to grapple him up, but disarm is fine.
Gotcha. Yeah, go ahead and roll your dice and tell me how that happens.
With grace for self, is he holding his weapon or is it in his belt still?
So he was like drawing it, and then like he was starting to aim it at you as he got stabbed from behind. So that's kind of like floundering now as he looks over his shoulder. So it's kind of being waved.
I'm going to slap his hand, like slap it out of his hand.
Okay.
Like really dismissively with grace for self. That's an 11.
An 11. It just goes spinning off into the air, and you hear it clatter as it hits some of the rope bridges below. Excellent. Did I miss anyone on a 7?
Hi.
Cicero, what do you have?
Just a stunt dice. I'd like to just move up.
Perfect. So you run across the rope bridge, get to the tomb that that they're all essentially just below on the stairwell. Just in time for that tomb's door to open. And you see at least a few other people that are like standing right in the doorway, and they're like looking around like, what's going on? And they have swords in their hands, and one of them is going to run out and try and attack you.
Raj.
Okay. Do you have a parry die at this point, or is it still below?
My parry die is a 1.
Okay.
Oh no.
So in surprise, you're standing there wide-eyed as these fellows run out. One has a rapier. What does he do as he hits you? Like, what does that look like?
Oh, I get to choose?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Just a deep slash across the chest, I guess.
Okay, so he just like slashes at you and like bites into your armor and a bit of flesh underneath. You were going to take 1 point of strain.
Copy that.
Another fellow runs out, but kind of quickly turns and looks down the stairwell and sees Ksenia and is going to run down there and try and grab her. Ksenia, do you have a parry die at this point?
Yes, it is a 5.
Okay. Oh, so that's next. We're on 6, so can't use it quite yet. So he comes down and he's just going to grab you. He doesn't have a weapon in his hands, but you are essentially being grappled. And anyone else on a 6?
I'm on a 6.
Okay.
So quick question. Like, when you roll the dice, you just get to pick out of the 3. Like, you don't have to have one of each, right?
Which dice are you talking about? I'm sorry.
So it says here, fill your hand with a main dice as your character's speed rating, and then in any combination of strike, parry, and stun. So I could have 2 strikes and 1 stun.
Correct.
Good, because I just want to hit things. And now that there are more friends, rather than like the butt, we're just coming straight down.
Gotcha. So you want to attack the guy who...
Is like right in front of you. Yeah.
Sure. Go ahead and roll that.
Be less bad. That's not less bad. I mean, technically, that's an 8.
An 8. You're going to hit him.
Oh, hey.
What does that look like?
As he's like trying to like get free, I just want to come straight down on the shoulder.
Gotcha. With the blade or with the...
With the blade.
Okay. What damage does your sword do?
1.
Okay. It bites deeply into his shoulder and blood sprays out. Ksenia and Tremont, you're both there, and just like a little bit of blood gets on each of you as he screams into the night. That should... Does anyone else have 6? 5.
That is my parry dice.
Okay, so if anyone attacks you at this point, you can use your parry against them. Good to know.
Okay.
And 4?
I had a strike dice on 5.
Okay, so you moved into that zone. There's one that is like right next to you that just hit you. There's another guy that kind of ran off after Ksenia. You can also hit that one. There are 2 others in the tomb still. Looks like they are pulling out crossbows with which to shoot you.
I don't. This isn't gonna be smart. I'm gonna retaliate and strike at the dude who cut into my chest.
Okay.
And I'll do for self with force. Total.
Yep.
That's gonna be a 10.
Okay, and what weapon are you using?
It's a short sword.
Short
It's
sword.
1 damage.
So more stabby than slashy?
Yes.
All right, so you're just like this moment of red just crosses your vision. How dare they mess up your armor like this? How rude. And you just lean in and bury that short sword up to the hilt in his gut. And he looks down at you and he looks surprised. Like, why would you do that? And then he just falls off your sword dead.
Fantastic.
That was, are we on 4? Sorry. I need a ticker.
We just got to 4.
Okay. Anyone else on a 4? 3.
My strike.
Okay. Do you have a ranged weapon?
No, I have just my telekinetic, I guess.
Oh, nice.
My weapons are debris, furniture, discarded weapons, and anything else my telekinesis can pick up.
So you did just see Cicera stab that guy and he fell off his sword. That guy could technically be used as an object now. You also see a couple other like just pieces of debris laying around, like chunks of stone.
And who is actively engaged at this point with somebody?
So pretty much everyone is actively engaged
Okay.
to a certain extent. Cicera has 2 people that are inside of the tomb that are bearing down on him with crossbows. You see another one behind Ksenia. You can't really see the guy who's coming up the stairs because they're blocking your view, but there's definitely targets.
Can I take the person who is now debris and throw them at one of the crossbow dudes?
Absolutely. I'm so glad
All right.
you went with that one. And you're going to add a D4 to your roll.
Okay. So, and then I just pick.
Yeah,
I
pick
guess
your
it'd be-
your method and your. I almost said
Honor and-
method or madness.
I don't. The word grace is hard for my brain to work with a definition of. Like what? Like I don't. Can I use grace?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, because it's defined very strangely in my brain, and it doesn't.
I think the way they're using it is although I guess you could argue it either way depending on what you're doing, but I think they're essentially using it as dexterity from 5e. But you could also use it in a like a stately manner, like you're very grave,
Right.
So
And that's how my brain translates it.
Yeah.
And that's why I can't move past that. Okay, is it the sum?
Yep.
14.
Awesome. Do you do
Does
damage
it matter
during
if
that?
you roll a whole number on one? Like if you roll the top number, that doesn't matter?
I don't think there's any exploding
Okay.
dice.
Okay, cool. Then it's
But-
14.
Okay. Does that do any damage?
It says damage 1.
Okay. So this body goes flying through the air and cracks into the other one. Cicero, you're close enough. You hear the other guy hit the tomb behind him and just cries out in pain and collapses to the ground. That was 3, right?
Yep.
2?
Stunned.
Okay.
Can I get into the next area? So, like, next round, I could do some stabbing? Because I think this guy he's kind of done.
So technically you're all in the same zone. You don't need to.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah.
I
then
thought the
I
dudes in the tomb were in a different zone.
Technically they're in the same zone. So now that you're all on the tower, you're all in the same zone.
Okay.
So if you want to move past the other guy and use your attack, for example, you're in the same zone already, and it's counted as part of your attack
Gotcha.
die.
then
It's
I
a
will,
little
pick up-
weird the way that is worded. Sorry.
Okay, so
So
then
you can hem somebody up or disarm with a stun.
Yep.
Oh yeah, then I want to disarm one of the crossbow guys.
Okay. So the one guy is still active that's in front of you. He's just really jacked up.
Okay, then yeah, he's less fun to stab.
Okay.
I need like fresh meat to stab. So let's disarm one of those crossbow guys.
So you come running up the stairs past. Actually, there's the guy at the top of the stairs that stabbed Ksenia.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me.
Disarm him.
Okay.
So then we will do this. 6.
6. So as he's pulling the dagger out of Ksenia's back, you run up and grab him by the wrist and essentially twist, and his knife just clatters to the ground. That was on a 2. Anyone
Yep.
else? 1.
I have a parry die.
Yay! I feel like we'll carry your parry over from the end of this round to the next one because you'll never get to parry.
That's
All right.
fair.
Going back to the top, we've got 10. Go ahead.
You're muted.
Sorry, right. I got a strike die.
Okay, and Lucio, what were you saying?
I want to use Deadly Force, so I get +1 bonus to all strike dice and strike dice actions. Strike dice this action.
Okay,
So that
okay,
will-
gotcha. Okay. All right, Tremont.
So this dude's still up that's in front of me?
He is wavering terribly, but he is up.
Can I... No, you know what? I'm going to use my strike because there's one person that's still up in the tomb that we can see that's armed, right?
Yep.
I would like to use my strike to fire my crossbow at that person.
Oh, perfect.
With grace, for self. That's a 12.
A 12 will hit. What happens when the crossbow bolt hits him?
I'm not gonna go for like. I would like to give him the honor of a sniper's wound. So I'd like to just go up his crossbow, like at his eye, basically.
Perfect. Yeah. So, Cicero, you're looking as this guy's about to pull the trigger, and this bolt flies down the crossbow and actually like splits the other bolt in half and then wedges in the guy's eye. And he just kind of lowers the crossbow and looks at you with his good eye. And then it rolls up in his head and he falls back and is dead. All right. Any other 10s?
Me.
Okay.
I just want to attack this guy who has been disarmed now.
Gotcha.
14.
A 14 will also hit him. What happens when you hit him with your great sword?
I'm just gonna go the same thing because I have friends like super close. I don't want to like swing wide with the bastard sword and then catch multiple people. So just straight down.
Okay. So it goes straight down.
You don't know the Dewey Decimal System?
So you actually cut into him kind of like you did with the other guy, where it just goes in at his shoulder, but it's actually closer to his neck. And so by the time you're done and you like pull the bastard sword out, it is like cleft him almost to the point where he's decapitated, but it's just like hanging on by a chunk, and he just falls off. He hits like the little rail that's there, it flips over it and just falls down. From below, a few seconds later, you do hear a scream.
Oh.
9.
That's my parry die, but I also shout, "Way to go!"
My stunt's on 9 too.
Okay. So the guy who is really jacked up, you hear a final shred as he pulls his shirt loose of the crossbow bolt, and he just jumps off the edge.
Well, we could have done that for him.
Can
Right?
Can I intercept that with my parry?
Oh, that's a good question. I think parry is only defense, but let me double check.
Because I have stunt.
You have stunt on this turn?
Yep. on
Nice.
Grapple him up with your telekinesis.
So what if you two were to use your parry and your stunt together, what would that look like? So he goes to jump off the edge.
Can I parry telekinetically? So like basically just put up try to stop him with force.
Sure. So
That's what I would do then. I'll step down my I guess my thief die.
gotcha. So are the two of you essentially like blocking him in? So one from one direction, the other from the other direction. As he jumps, he just hits this invisible force and it pushes him back onto the stair. Does that sound good?
I would guess with the stunt, she would be able to actually grab him telekinetically. I just am like stopping him from moving forward.
Yeah, so like with Zilla's telekinesis, she pushes him up against the wall that he was just pinned to and just like holds him there.
That works for me.
Okay. All right, so with like a look of defiance, he like glares at everyone and jumps off the edge and then just like bounces off of it. And this look of confusion is just like, why? And then he hits the back and just gets smooshed against it. So there's like, it almost looks like glass is pushing up against him because that force is smooshing his face. And he's like, why me?
Does it leave like a him-shaped outline in the sandstone of the pillar?
Right? All right, so that was a 9, correct?
Yep.
All right, anyone else on a 9? 8.
That is my strike dice.
Okay, so there is that guy's in front of you. I think that's everybody, isn't it? Because everyone else is dead. That guy's in front of you. What would you like to do?
I don't think I want to kill him.
Okay.
Because I'm guessing it's probably a better idea to subdue him and bring him topside for like hand him over
Okay.
to the royals that he tried to poison.
I mean, you do have a poison that takes like 3 days to kill somebody, don't you?
Yeah, and he thinks I've used it on him.
Right. Oh no, that was yeah. Right guy. Yep. That is true. Do you want to?
Yeah, so if there's any way to subdue him or tie him up on a strike die.
We'll go with. Go ahead and make a roll. You choose your 2. And get
Okay.
an extra D4 on top of that due to Zilla's telekinesis.
Okay, I'm gonna keep for self and with cunning. Oh, that's a fairly good roll. That's an 11. That would be a 12 total.
Nice. So how do you subdue him? Is it going to be like a physical, like you bap him on the head, or like it? You can't really tie him up yet, but you can physically do something to like render him useless.
She'll probably do a sweep kick at his ankles just
Nice.
to knock him down on the floor,
Sure.
and then like step on his back.
So as you sweep him, he like hits the ground and the stairs, and his head like bounces off one, and he's like just kind of sitting there, obviously dazed, bleeding heavily. All of you, I mean, that's pretty much the combat. If you're unless somebody's like, I kill him on my turn. Does anyone want to kill him on their turn?
No.
Okay. So
If
together,
anyone who tries, she'll Ksenia will be like, no, we got to bring him in living. A reward, torture, interrogation. It's going to be great.
I'm just picturing in my mind, because she does this leg sweep, but there's still telekinetic force pressing him against the wall.
right?
That he more, rather than just falls over, that he like turns and then
Right.
slides down.
And there's like the sound of like that squeaking on glass. Thud. Nice.
In chat, Tony Kallstrom has said the term splat comes to mind, and I
Right.
think that's fairly accurate.
So those of you who are on the top, Cicera, Zilla, I think you really have the best view. You notice like off in the distance a couple other doors open, and figures that are clothed the same way that you currently are, like look out and then just like book it. They're just like, nope, not having this. I don't need to get paid. And they're just gone. The rest of you are tying up the other guy. You feel like this is the fellow that you were told about down in the dredge. What do you do?
Yeah, Ksenia suggests tie him up, turn him over to the queen,
Okay.
duchess, whatever her proper title is.
The lady.
The lady,
Alfonso.
yes.
From the vantage point that we're at, do I see any guards on the approach?
You do not.
I look up at Sunny and say, "The tomb's open."
We got some stuff to do.
Do you go into the tomb that you're at?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get up in there and you like it looks like the people who were hiding in there were already like taking things and like setting them aside to take with them when they left. So it's like they made a doggy bag for you to go. It was what
So
kind of
nice.
better service could you ask for?
People don't just prep your loot for you ahead of time all the time.
Right?
This is a rare opportunity.
Yep. Just.
Right? Yeah. And is the plan to essentially take what do you want to do with the bodies? Are you leaving them here? Do you want to
It's a tomb.
It's
This is
true.
where, yeah.
I say we leave them there, and then we can tell the royals, like the people who didn't make it are in the tomb. We didn't have anywhere to put them.
Okay.
I think us trying to move bodies would look way more sketchy than us leaving them there and then reporting what we did.
Yeah. If there's
That's a
If
good
there's-
point.
a prayer or something that's normally said, I will say it very deadpan and sardonically as I walk past, like pasta lasagna, don't get any on you, and I walk by. And,
Right. I feel like the only thing that you might say at the end, kind of maybe under your breath, but very seriously, is please don't come back to haunt me.
Right. Yeah,
But
that's
other
fair.
than that,
I think Ksenia will very sincerely say, make better choices in your next life.
nice.
Kick the
Um,
one that cut me across the chest.
Just in case.
I'll say to Sonny, why don't you let me take your loot bag? We'll meet back up at your place, and you can give me my share of the reward.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, that's a good idea.
All right. I grab his loot bag, and I make a totally different route to Sonny's place.
Okay. Are the rest of you taking this gentleman to the officials?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you end up
'cause
leading him down.
I also
and...
have an
What's that?
because I also have an antidote to hand off.
Perfect. Yeah, he actually asked you on the way down because he's just like, so can you just heal me? Can you cure me? Like, I don't have any antidote on me.
Looks to be you. Just so
Come
we're
on.
clear, you receiving the antidote is based on the value of the information that you give the lady
Come
when
on,
you talk to her.
you can't let me die. Come on, I'm a valuable prisoner.
I mean, we just killed
Well,
all your friends, so we can let you die. So how much do you want to not die is really where we're coming from.
That's fair. So as you're leading him down, as you kind of get like down a little bit on the staircases that lead off, you do notice off in the distance, but obviously making its way this direction, is a flying ship. However, like before it gets here, it veers off and flies away from the city. Almost as though it knew something wasn't right and therefore left.
oh, really sucks to be that guy.
Yeah.
You take the guy to the officials, turn him over. They thank you very much for the cure for like the antidote for the poison. You are rewarded handsomely. Any other things you want to do?
Now that I have attracted the attention of the lady, you know, if she's looking for people to work for her, I'm looking for a new patron.
Oh, well, excellent. She definitely is filling positions within the Royal Guard. And even though you would have to start at the bottom, it does, you can work your way up. There's a pension, health benefits, free dental. So,
Yeah,
all
I'm not really guard material. I'm more like special ops go take that guy out quietly material.
and she's all like, yeah, a guard.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's supposed to be a wink.
Excellent.
Tremont, are you waiting for Lucio when he gets back to his place?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
I didn't know if this was like, I'm going to take your part of this stuff and I'll meet you there. And then you ran off to search her or something.
Unless the stuff that I stole is worth more than 10,000 chits, in which case then I'm probably on my way back to back home.
Right. All right, so everyone gets their handsome reward. Tremont, you feel like between the handsome reward and these, trinkets that you procured, you can go pay off your debt to Yaba the Yut.
Yeah, exactly. Don't worry, kid. I'll be back in time to blow up the Death Star. It'll be fine. Take off.
And you all get to spend your loot however you so choose. And are heroes of the city. Yay!
We did it!
Any questions, comments, concerns about the game? What did you
This
think?
was super fun.
Yay!
It was a lot of fun.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a really cool mechanics system. I haven't played with this before, but
is-
I like how combat goes really quickly.
It does.
I'm really turned off by new systems usually, but this one doesn't. I usually just feel confused the whole time I first play something.
Yeah.
But I didn't really feel confused. The worst part of it was when I first started and didn't know for sure how the actual area works.
Right.
Like it was planetary, kind of that thing,
Right.
more than mechanics ever stop me.
Gotcha. Nice. Any other feedback on the game for the viewers?
You did great.
Oh, well, thanks. That wasn't about...
Yeah,
It's not about me, though. But thanks. I hope you had fun.
No, it was a blast. I love this. This was as fun as I had imagined it would be. So I want to do more. I recommend everyone run over and grab the Jumpstart right away.
Absolutely.
Which I just linked in the chat. Nice. Well, since no one could hear you all at the beginning of the game, why don't we run through and do that all again? So let's start with Zilla this time. Zilla, tell us all about yourself.
I am Sarah Scharnhover. I played Zilla. We are both she, her. I am a predominantly a horror writer. I have a YouTube channel. Well, I have too many YouTube channels. I play on Twitch and on Twitter, and I'm Wordsmith Sarah everywhere with an H.
Awesome. Ksenia.
Hey, my name is Rachel. I was playing Ksenia, the poisoner / scholar. It was a lot of fun. I am Stolen Fires pretty much everywhere. The next time I will be streaming will be tomorrow night over at Vorpal Tales, White
Nice.
Walls. It's a mage cult crossover. It's a lot of fun. And then I will be back there again on Monday for Dune.
Yay.
And then back here on Tuesday for the Trinity Continuum Adventure Kickstarter.
Nice.
And then here again on Thursday for Changeling the Dreaming. So lots of streaming.
You just live here this week.
I guess so. Yeah, just gonna camp out.
Right there. Perfect. All right, Sunny Lucio. Sorry, Sunny Lucio.
Sunny. Hi, so my name is Chaz, and I played Sunny, the honorable thief, the thieving honor, whatever. Fun guy, love him to death. And when I'm not doing this, I have been streaming. I'm coming to the end of my stream, but I still have 2 more coming up. On Tuesday on the Onyx Path, I will be streaming the Scion Jumpstart, a Light Extinguished, with Gilbert and Jeremy. They're going to be playing. And then that's 2 p.m. Eastern, and then Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we will be having our final game of Scion Become as Gods. Much less a game, much more of a kind of interview, post-game debrief type stuff, as we have become as demigods. They're all demigods. They saved the world. So yeah, check us for that if you like Scion. It is a super fun system. So yeah, check it out.
Nice. And Cicera.
Just putting dice away. I'm so bad at this. I'm Gilbert Ramos. He, him, played Cicera Ipato, Desert Cavalier. Also he, him. I forgot what I do again. I'm sorry. I stream tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern. The game of Vampire Masquerade called Kindred Come. You can follow me or find me on Twitter, Twitch, under basically at Ramos the Nomad under everything. You can find the group that I stream with, Rolling Nomads, at Rolling Nomads. As Chaz said, we'll be doing Scion on Wednesday and Tuesday. Where we'll be doing a Light Extinguish on Tuesday, and then the final episode of Become as Gods sort of interview. I have a lot of questions for Chaz. So many questions. So we'll be doing this sort of a Q&A type deal.
Is it going to be like the Hobbit where he pulls out the piece of paper and then unfolds it and it just keeps going?
Yeah. Basically.
I'll bring popcorn. Okay, good to know. And last but not least, Tremont.
Hello, everybody. I'm Travis Legg. He, him. I've been playing Tremont. He, they. What do I do? I am the programming coordinator here at the Onyx Path Twitch. When I'm not doing that, I'm the line developer for Scarred Lands, and I'm doing some development work on Mage 20. Whole bunch of cool stuff coming up. In terms of streaming, I will be back here on Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern for the final episode of Reap the Whirlwind, Vampire the Requiem. That's going to be a lot of fun with
Nice.
Jeremy and Chaz as it ends in From what I can gather from talking to my players, the most Quentin Tarantino-esque fashion that any stream might have ever ended on. They're going out like Reservoir Dogs,
Right.
sounds like. After that, I'm streaming at 9 a.m. on Tuesday. I'll be playing Pugmire.
Nice.
The Pugmire Jumpstart is Secret of Vincent's Tomb. And then I'll be back Tuesday night at 9 p.m. for Trinity Continuum Adventure.
Currently on Kickstarter.
Yeah, currently on Kickstarter. Please head over and support that. And I think that's my streaming schedule for the week. So yeah, thank you so much. This has been a huge bunch of fun, and I've been wanting to play this game since it came out.
Nice.
So I appreciate the opportunity to sit as a player.
I think this is only like the second time I've ever seen you get to play a game, so I am so glad you got to. Hooray!
Thank you. Yeah, I'm getting a little bit more in because of Jumpstart month, but yeah,
Right.
it's nice to sit on this side of the screen.
Nice. And I'm Jeremy Hochhalter. I got to be the game master for today. I hope everyone had fun. You can find me on Twitter at WHPubs, here on Twitch at WHPublications. I think the only thing that hasn't been brought up that happens with Chaz and Gilbert is Wednesdays at 2 p.m. Does that sound right? 2:30 p.m.
Yeah, it's
2:30 p.m. Eastern.
2:30.
We're doing the Dark Lore series from... It was published under D&D Adventurers League, so Forgotten Realms stuff. So come check that out. We're on our second episode this coming week, so come join us. Until then, everybody.
That's
have
over
fun.
at the WH Pubs channel, right?
That is, yes, the WH Publications. Yay! Until then, everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, be safe, wear a mask still, wash your hands still. Bye.
Get vaccinated.
Yeah.